The night over Epsilon 9 colony was filled with lightning and red dust. The wind howled across the open plains, shaking the metal houses that humans had built on the edge of alien lands. Inside one small cabin, Ethan Cole, a young mechanic, sat beside a humming heater. He was alone, fixing a broken drone and drinking cold coffee. He had been working late at the colony's power station when the storm hit. The rain came like knives and the sky turned violet. No vehicle could move in such weather, so he took shelter in his cabin. It stood apart from the main camp, quiet and lonely among the rocks. The storm grew louder. The lights flickered. Ethan sighed and rubbed his tired eyes. "Just another storm," he whispered. But deep down, he felt uneasy. The wind outside almost sounded like voices crying or calling. Then came a knock on the metal door. He froze. Nobody should be out there in this weather. He waited, thinking it was the wind. But the knock came again, 3 soft, careful taps. Ethan stood up slowly. He grabbed his flashlight and opened the hatch a little. The cold wind rushed in, carrying red dust and rain. A tall figure stood outside, wrapped in a torn cloak. The figure swayed, as if about to fall. When lightning flashed, he saw her face pale, blue skin. A long silver hair stuck to her cheeks, and strange glowing marks along her neck. Ethan's breath caught. You're not human." The woman's golden eyes looked weak, but full of fear. "Please," she whispered, "let me in. The storm hunts me." He hesitated. The colony had strict rules about aliens. They called them Valorians, dangerous, proud, and untouchable. But the woman's shaking hands and fading glow pushed those thoughts away. "Come in," he said. Inside, the cabin was smaller bunk, a heater, and a table full of tools. The woman stumbled in and fell to her knees. Mud and rain pooled under her cloak. "Easy," Ethan said, helping her sit near the heater. "You're freezing." Her skin was cold as ice. He gave her a towel and a cup of hot tea from the machine. She looked at it like it was a strange object, then sipped carefully. "You help me?" she asked, voice soft and unsure. "Yeah," Ethan said. "No one should die out there." Her lips curved into a faint smile. "Humans, always curious, always kind in strange ways." "What's your name?" he asked. "I am Liara of the Valori lineage," she said, touching her chest lightly. "Or I was." "What do you mean, was?" Liara lowered her eyes. "I disobeyed my counsel. They sent the storm to chase me." Ethan blinked. "Sent the storm? It's just weather." She shook her head slowly. "Not on my world. Our storms are alive. They follow those who break the Queen's will." Ethan didn't know what to say. He looked out the window. The thunder rolled like angry drums. "So you ran from your own people?" Liara nodded. "I spared a human soldier when I was told to destroy him. They said I betrayed my kind." He stared at her. "You spared a human?" "Yes." He was afraid, but I saw truth in his eyes. "I could not kill him." Gosh. Ethan leaned back, trying to imagine it. "And for that, they sent a storm to kill you." "Mercy is forbidden among the Valori," she said quietly. "It shows weakness. My title, my home all taken. The storm hunts me until I die or repent." Ethan clenched his fists. "That's not justice. That's madness." Liara looked up, eyes shining faintly gold. "Humans speak of justice. We speak of order. You fight for hearts. We fight for silence." He stared at her, feeling a strange sadness. "Maybe both our worlds are broken in different ways." The hours passed. Rain turned into sleet. Ethan tried to keep busy repairing his drone, but his mind kept wandering to the woman sitting beside the heater. She watched the flames like someone seeing fire for the first time. When he looked up, she was staring at him. "Why do you stay alone here, far from your people?" He smiled a little. "Because I wanted peace. I fought in the first landing war. I got tired of watching friends die. Machines are quieter." Liara nodded slowly. "Then you and I are the same. I too grew tired of war." For a moment, silence filled the room. The storm pounded on the roof, but inside it felt still, Then the lights flickered and died. The heater shut off. Darkness swallowed the cabin. Liara gasped softly. "It found me again," relaxed Ethan said. "It's just a power loss." He picked up his flashlight and turned it on. The beam hit her face, and he froze. Her golden eyes were glowing bright. Blue lines under her skin pulsed like veins of light. Small sparks danced over her fingers. "Whoa, are you okay?" "I cannot control it," she whispered. "The storm speaks through my blood. It calls my name." Ethan stepped closer, careful but calm. "Then listen to my voice instead." Her head tilted. "Why?" "Because you're safe here." She stared at him for a long second. Then she closed her eyes, breathing slowly. The glow dimmed. The wind outside softened, like the storm itself obeyed her calm. When the power returned, Liara looked drained but alive. Ethan smiled faintly. "See? Told you it'd pass," she whispered. "Your words carry warmth. Even storms listen to them." He laughed softly. "That's just experience talking." "Experience," she repeated quietly, as if tasting the word. Later, he made her soup using dried rations. Liara sniffed it curiously before eating. "It smells strange, but good." "Better than starving," he said. When she finished, she looked around the small room. "You live in such small space, yet you look content." "It's not about size," he said. "It's about peace." Liara tilted her head. "Peace. On my world, peace means silence. No emotion, no wind, just empty sky." Ethan shook his head. "That's not peace. That's loneliness." She seemed to think deeply about that. Then she whispered, "Perhaps that is why our storms never end." Hours later, the storm outside began to roar again. The walls shook. The roof groaned. Ethan checked the seals. "Looks like it's getting worse." Liara stood, fear flashing across her golden eyes. "It knows I am weak. It wants me alone." He frowned. "It can't want anything. It's just nature." She grabbed his arm suddenly, her hand cold but strong. "You do not understand. The storm feels minds. When I am alone, it grows strong. When I am near another, it fades." He looked at her, surprised. "So, what do you need someone with you to stay safe?" She nodded. "When two hearts share one space, the storm cannot find one soul clearly," Ethan sighed. "Then stay here. I'm not letting you back out there anyway." She blinked. "You would risk anger from your leaders. They can yell later. You'll live tonight. That's what matters." Her eyes softened. "Human courage is reckless," he smiled. "Maybe, but it works." The power flickered again. The temperature dropped fast. Ethan gave her an extra blanket. "Take the bed," he said. "It's warmer." Her head tilted. "And where will you sleep?" "I'll take the chair." She frowned slightly. "On my world, no one gives their rest to another." "Then your world's missing something important," he said. For a moment, she didn't move. Then she said quietly, "If I share the bed, the storm's sense will dull. It reads loneliness. Two hearts close confuse it." Ethan blinked. "So, you're saying we should both use the bed?" She looked away, her cheeks glowing faintly gold. "Only for safety." He nodded quickly. "Of course, safety." They both lay down on opposite sides of the narrow bed. The wind screamed outside, shaking the walls. Ethan stared at the ceiling, listening to the rhythm of the storm. Beside him, Liara trembled slightly, the glowing lines on her skin pulsing in time with the thunder. "Hey," he whispered, "it'll pass soon. Just breathe." "I hear it whisper my name," she said quietly. "Then listen to mine instead." "Ethan." She turned her head toward him. "Ethan?" She said it slowly, as if learning a secret word. "Good," he said, smiling. "Now it can't have you." Her trembling eased. The glow faded. For the first time that night, the storm began to quiet. "Your voice," she whispered. "It pulls light instead of thunder." He chuckled softly. "Guess I have that effect on storms?" Minutes became hours. The heater hummed again. Lyra's breathing slowed as she fell asleep. Ethan stayed awake, watching her face in the dim light. She looked peaceful, nothing like the stories of alien queens that frightened humans. When dawn touched the horizon, the rain stopped. The red clouds broke apart, showing a pale blue sky. Ethan sat up and rubbed his eyes. Liara was already awake, sitting by the window. She watched the sunrise with wonder. "Storm's gone," he said quietly. "Yes," she replied. "It ended when you slept. Perhaps it feared your dreams," he smiled. "Or maybe it just ran out of energy." Liara turned to him. "No, the storm feeds on emotion. It vanished because our hearts shared warmth." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "You really believe that?" "I feel it," she said. "And I remember something." "What's that?" "I was not just fleeing exile. I came searching." "For what?" "For the human soldier I once spared. I heard he lived here under another name. He bore a mark on his arm, a crescent scar." Ethan froze. Slowly he pulled back his sleeve. A faded crescent-shaped scar marked his shoulder. Lyra's eyes widened. "You." He stood, stunned. "You were the one who let me go. That night on Veller's Ridge?" She nodded slowly. "Yes. I could not take your life. I watched you run through the storm and vanish. My people called me traitor ever since." Ethan felt a rush of memories, guns, smoke, lightning, her face in the distance. "I never forgot your eyes," he said quietly. "You saved me. And now you save me," she whispered. "Perhaps this is balance." They stood facing each other, silence heavy between them. Outside, the sky was calm. Liara spoke again, her voice low. "But understand this, the storm still listens. It knows our bond. It will not rest. My people fear what we have begun." Ethan frowned. "What do you mean?" "They believe if a Valerie Queen's heart joins with a human, th." The morning after the storm felt calm but strange. The red sky of Epsilon 9 was clear, yet the silence held a warning. Ethan and Liara sat outside the small cabin, watching sunlight dance on the wet ground. The desert steam rose, painting the air gold. Liara wrapped Ethan's old blanket around her shoulders. The wind brushed her silver hair, making it glow in the light. She looked peaceful, but Ethan could see worry behind her eyes. "Storm's gone for now," he said, trying to sound casual. Liara nodded slowly. "Yes, but it will return. The council will not stop until I am found." Ethan leaned against the wall. They'd cross all this distance for one person. "I am not only one person," she said softly. "I was their voice, their queen's heir. My blood controls the storms. When I ran away, their balance broke." Ethan blinked. "Wait, you're the queen's heir?" Liara lowered her eyes. "Was. My mother calls herself the Sky Queen. She believes emotion is weakness. She told me a heart that feels cannot rule the clouds. I disobeyed her, and now the sky hunts me." He let out a slow whistle. "You've got bigger family problems than anyone I've met." Liara smiled sadly. "And you, Ethan Cole, have too much courage for one man." Shrugged. "Guess we both have our curses." Inside the cabin, he began repairing the communication drone. If he could reach the colony tower, they might warn him before any Valori scouts came. But the signal kept jamming. Liara watched curiously. "You speak to machines like they understand you," he laughed. "Sometimes they do. When you fix them enough times, they start listening." She tilted her head. "Humans give life to metal. Valori give voice to storms. Maybe our worlds are not so different." Before he could answer, the ground shook slightly. Dust drifted from the ceiling. Ethan frowned and ran to the window. Far away, dark clouds began to form again, too fast, too sharp. Liara stood beside him, eyes wide. "They found me already." "Yes, the Storm Riders. My mother's guards. Storm Riders. They control the winds using crystals linked to the Queen. They will not stop until I kneel or die." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Then we run." She grabbed his arm. "We cannot. The storm moves faster than ships. But there may be a place, He looked at her. Where? She hesitated. An ancient shelter under the canyon ridge. Built by both our ancestors when humans first came, my people hid it from history. Ethan picked up his coat. Then that's where we're going. They left the cabin behind. The sky darkened quickly, turning red to gray. Ethan's vehicle, a rusted crawler, groaned as it crossed the muddy plain. Lightning began to flash behind them. Liara held onto the door, her glowing eyes fixed on the storm. It moves like a living thing, she whispered. It follows our breath, and we'll just breathe faster, Ethan said, forcing a smile. After an hour, the crawler reached the canyon edge. Wind howled through the cliffs. Below, a faint light flickered a tunnel hidden under the rocks. This is it, Liara said. They climbed down carefully, the roar of thunder echoing above. At the tunnel's mouth, Ethan noticed strange symbols carved into the stone half-human letters. Half-alien runes. Liara brushed the dust from them. Before the wars, our people built this place together. A chamber of peace. Let's hope it still works, Ethan muttered. Inside, the air was cold, but calm. The tunnel opened into a vast chamber lit by faint blue crystals. Machines hummed silently, still alive after 100 years. Ethan whistled. Looks like someone left the lights on. Liara touched one of the glowing pillars. These crystals hold the breath of storms. They can block the Queen's reach if I wake them. Can you? She closed her eyes, focusing. Light rippled from her hands into the stone. The chamber brightened. For a moment, everything felt peaceful again, but then came a deep rumble from above. Dust rained down. Ethan looked up. I think they found us. Outside, the sky turned black. Bolts of blue lightning struck the canyon walls. From the clouds descended figures riding winged machines made of stormlight. Their armor shimmered with energy. Storm riders, Liara said quietly. My mother's guards. One of them landed near the entrance. His helmet opened, revealing a face with the same glowing eyes as Liara but colder. Princess Liara, he called. Your exile is over. Return to the Queen, or the storm will consume you. Ethan stepped forward before Liara could answer. She's not going anywhere with you. The rider's gaze snapped to him. A human dares speak? Ethan met his stare. This human just saved her life. Then you will lose yours, the rider said. Raising his arm, lightning gathered in his palm butt before he could strike. The storm above cracked like glass. Liara shouted, Stop! He is under my protection. The lightning froze midair. The rider looked confused. Your protection? You are no longer royal. Liara stepped closer, her golden eyes blazing. Maybe not in your court. But the storm still knows my name. She lifted her hands. Energy spread across the sky. The lightning bent away, forming a ring of light that circled them both. Ethan stared in awe. You're controlling it. Lyra's voice shook slightly. Only because you're here. The storm feeds on hearts. Alone, it would destroy me. With you near, it listens. The rider shouted, Blasphemy! You join your essence with a human. Lyra's face softened but firm. Yes, because he showed me mercy when my own kind forgot it. The rider's fury twisted into fear. Then the prophecy is true. If a queen shares her storm with a human, the sky will lose its rage. He raised his weapon again, but before he could strike, the energy in the air exploded. The clouds tore apart. Light poured through. The rider's ship was thrown back by the blast, disappearing into the sky. Silence followed. Liara fell to her knees, trembling. Ethan ran to her. Hey, stay with me. She looked up weakly. The bond. It's waking something ancient. What bond? The one between our hearts. It ties the storm's voice to your spirit now. Ethan blinked. You mean the storm's part of me? She nodded slowly. Yes, it listens to you too. He looked at the quiet sky. For the first time since he came to Epsilon 9, he felt the air truly still. Then maybe we can end it together. They stayed in the chamber for hours. Liara rested against a crystal pillar, her glow dim but steady. Ethan tried to fix the crawler's damaged circuits, but his thoughts kept returning to her words. When she finally spoke again, Her voice was soft. You are different from other humans I have met. He smiled faintly. You mean stubborn? She shook her head. You feel the world instead of controlling it. My people forgot how to do that. Maybe that's why we met, he said. To remind each other what living means. Liara looked at him quietly, golden eyes warm. The storm no longer fears you. It obeys you now, he frowned. That's not a job I asked for. She laughed softly, the sound echoing in the stone chamber. No one asks the sky for power. It chooses who can bear its heart. When evening came, they heard distant thunder again, but gentler this time, like a whisper instead of a roar. Liara stood. My people will come again. They will not accept peace easily. Then we'll make them, Ethan said. She shook her head. Violence cannot end storms. Only understanding can. If they see me alive beside you, maybe they will listen. Ethan sighed. And if they don't, then I will face my mother myself. He looked into her eyes. Not alone. Liara smiled faintly. You would stand against a queen? I've fought worse than royalty, he said. And I don't leave friends behind. Her glow brightened slightly. Then let the storm witness our truth. The next morning, the horizon shimmered. Dozens of silver ships appeared through the clouds. The queen herself had arrived. Her vessel was massive, shaped like a glowing crown. Lightning danced around it. Ethan and Liara stood at the canyon edge. The air hummed with power. From the largest ship, a voice filled the sky. Liara, daughter of Valora, kneel before your queen. Liara looked up. Mother, the storms are tired. Let them rest. The queen's voice was cold. You speak with the human tongue. You shame your bloodline. Ethan stepped forward. She saved me once. Now she saved this world. Maybe you should thank her instead of chasing her. Silence. Then the clouds above twisted into dark shapes. Lightning cracked. You would defend her, human. Yes, Ethan said firmly, because she showed more humanity than most humans ever have. The queen's storm flared, but then something strange happened. The lightning bent around Ethan, refusing to strike. The energy moved like wind around him, calm and warm. Liara whispered, It listens to you. Ethan looked up at the glowing clouds. If you can hear me, he said aloud, then listen. The war between us doesn't have to go on. You don't need fear to rule. You just need hope. The storm flashed once, then again but softer, almost like breathing. Liara stepped beside him. Mother, do you see? The storm obeys kindness now. The queen's silence lasted long. Then her voice came, quieter than before. Perhaps. The storm grows wiser than its makers. Clouds slowly cleared. The massive ship's lights dimmed. You have chosen your path, daughter. The storm will no longer hunt you. But no, this peace is heavier than war. Carry it well. And with that, the ships turned away, vanishing into the glowing horizon. When they were gone, the canyon filled with gentle rain, not harsh but soothing. Liara lifted her face to the drops and smiled for the first time without fear. It's warm, she said softly. Ethan nodded. Maybe it's the first real rain your world's ever had. She looked at him. And what will you do now, human of storms? He smiled. Maybe fix something quieter. Or maybe stay near the person who makes the sky behave.